looks like it's 9 o'clock. We got the red light up there. So go ahead and call this meeting to order. It's the January 15th, 2025 City of Fort Long Beach Code Compliance Special Magistrate meeting. If you could, just stand for the pledge. Pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. And speaking with Mr. Rhodes here, before the meeting, I understand that 6.2, which is CE 24790 LIT, and 6.7, which is CE 24728 ZV, are in compliance.
Correct, sir.
So we won't be hearing those today. And then 6.4, which is CE 24373 MAN, is going to be rescheduled for next month. Is that just in the future?
That was rescheduled because you gave them so much time to get the permit,
Okay.
and then at that point they didn't have it, but they did get it just after that. So I went ahead and put it to whatever the date was you had given them. So
Okay.
I think it's about 2 months.
Okay, so 6.4 rescheduled in the future here. And then which cases are you all respondents for a case here?
Yes, sir. On this case 24723.
6.6 on there.
Okay, so y'all are here. And Ms. Rhodes, are you expecting anyone else here? Or
We were expecting 6.1 to arrive, but she's not here yet.
not here yet? What I'll do is I'm going to move 6.1 to the end of the public hearings, since she indicated she'd be here and she's not yet. So we will hear that one after 6.9. All the other ones that were here today are just going to be bumped up to one here.
Do you want to move 6.6 to the start, Your Honor?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move 6.6 since you're here. We'll get you out of here. You look like you might be a busy man, so we'll get you out of here. We'll hear 6.6 first.
Thank you.
And then the others will be bumped up. All right. With that, I think that sets our agenda for the day. Nick, you got that? All right. Looking through the minutes from last month, I did that before the meeting. They look good, so I'll go ahead and approve those minutes. And Mr. City Attorney, if you could swear everyone in.
And if y'all could stand as well. Does everyone swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, if you provide testimony today, just know you're under oath.
All right, and that moves us right into the public hearings, and we're going to hear 6.6 first. And
My name is Ed Moore, Code Inspector, City of Fort Long Beach. This is agenda item 6.6. This is case number CE 24723PR. This case pertains to 516 Cheshire Avenue Northwest. According to the tax records, the owner of said property is Christopher Coelho. On September 19th, 2024, the property was found in violation of Code Section 30105 and Florida Building Code Section 105.1 permit required, and Land Development Code Section 20300 Table 20302 permitted uses. There was a new fencing and a new accessory structures / sheds installed on the property without a permit. And the R1 zone property had a rear accessory structure which was being rented out separate from the single-family house as a rental apartment. On November 5th, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of violation. And on November 20th, 2024, reinspection of the property found the violations had not been corrected. On January 8th, 2025, service was obtained for the notice of hearing. And on September 30th, 2024, photographs of the violations were taken. As of today, January 15th, 2025, the property remains in violation. And at this time, staff would like to enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A is the case history report. Exhibit B is a list of exhibits. Exhibit C is a notice of hearing and proof of service. Exhibit D is a notice of violation and proof of service. Exhibit E is a copy of the inspector's qualifications. Exhibit F It's a copy of the tax record showing the property's ownership, and Exhibit G are photographs of the violations. Staff is requesting acceptance of the findings of fact, conclusion of law, and issuance of Order 1, including the $325 administrative fee. Staff also recommends 30 days' time for compliance of the violations with the recommended compliance date of February 14th, 2025. Mr. Coelho, this is the file, the notices we sent you. So we always ask that you take a look at it. If there's any objections, he has to look at it.
Yeah, that's right, sir. He's trying to present that as evidence, so if you have any objection to that and entering the evidence, you can just take your case.
Basically what I read into the case.
But sir, you'll have your opportunity to explain yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Morris.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You got some pictures to me too?
Yes, sir. There's pictures in the file, as well as on the screen. The issue was we received a complaint with the fencing in the rear shed that was brought to the property, as well as information that there was an existing art room, some kind of a hobby room in the back that the previous owner had used that was currently being advertised for rent as an apartment. From the outside of the property, we've gotten the pictures, but other than the fence and the shed, the apartment information came from the online advertisement information, which is that middle white building. The rear building, as you see on the screen there, that's the building that was brought to the property without the permit.
Okay.
And speaking with Mr. Coelho, he's working on getting the fence squared away with the permits. That may take a while, depending if he's got to relocate it or resize it. I believe has sold that accessory shed that's in question with needing a permit, so that's going to be removed if it hadn't already.
Okay.
The only issue left would be the rear structure that was existing. Mr. Coelho could use it as he sees fit, as long as there's it's held out as a separate rental, and that they remove the cooking facilities from it. I think the picture shows this has a stove and a microwave in there.
Okay. So just to summarize, the only issue remaining, assuming those things are taken care of, rear accessory structure can't be rented out, and it's got some cookware, kitchen in it, essentially.
Right, it's and these things happen. Sometimes people may not understand how they can use the property, but again, if he has roommates and people that share the property with him, and he operates like a single family, that's fine. In the past, we've always, once you add an additional cooking facilities and also separate from the main structure, that's when you're getting into multifamily and rental apartments.
All right. I think I understand. Looking through these exhibits, I'm going to accept them as the record. You have anything else, Mr. Moore?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, how do you mention it?
Coelho.
Go ahead and step up to the mic.
Good morning, sir.
And, tell me what's going on from your perspective.
Okay, I did prepare a little something. I don't know if you mind me reading off this.
Go ahead. That's fine.
Okay, so for the fence and the shed, I take full responsibility for not obtaining the required permits before installing the shed and fencing. I understand the importance of the following regulations and have already begun the process of applying for the necessary permits to ensure compliance. I already applied for the fence permit and paid all the fees, total of $340.
Okay. And when did you apply?
I applied last week, Thursday, and paid the total of $340 yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, I also did end up selling the shed because I did not have enough funds to apply for the permit, and the continuous harassment of my neighbor in the backside. You have the proof.
And is that shed still on the property?
It is. The lady that bought it, she's scheduling the move. She said it'll be a week or two.
Okay,
until that shed is out of there.
all right.
Okay, for the rear accessory building, I would like to clarify that the rear accessory structure of my property has never been rented out and it is not used as dwelling. I am happy to provide evidence to confirm this. I respectfully ask for this point to be reviewed and corrected as it does not reflect the actual use of this structure.
Okay,
Here I have evidence of that rear structure. Pictures I took this morning, so they're really up to date.
if you could show those pictures, Mr. Moore, and then I'll take this.
Sorry, thank you.
So here is the rear structure that we were talking about. This is the inside. This is a storage area and a little area where I play my music.
What's that storage area, Brett? You want to answer that into the right?
I would, I think, Nick, just for record keeping purposes, I'm going to enter these as respondents 1. Okay. So, and it's going to be respondents composite exhibit 1. So,
Yes, sir.
and hang on just a second, let me take a look.
Yes, sir.
And so that, the online rental pictures that Mr. Moore
Yes, sir.
had,
I will address that.
Okay.
For the online cooking pictures, I do have that kitchen that I installed myself due to my kitchen being in poor condition. I don't know if you'd like to see this. I have a lot of leaks coming from the roof and the stove is not working. So I did install that kitchen. It's right next to my existing kitchen, the old one.
Okay.
And I did put that post up on Facebook. I did toy around with the idea of renting that, but it is currently not rented out to anybody. And that post has been taken down months ago.
Okay.
I currently do have...
1 second, sir. I just want
Yes,
to make
sir.
sure I get this right for record keeping purposes.
Yes, sir.
Nick, the second set of photographs is going to be respondents exhibit 2. Might want. Let me get some sticky notes for some more, please. So make your life easier when you take these.
I'm not sure why, like who sent the complaint for me to be here, but I do have the neighbors on the left side of my property and back side of my property that is continuously harassing me. They say I'm a bad neighbor. They complain about the cars in the driveway. I am currently in the Air Force and have 2 Air Force members that live with me. That's why we have 4 cars in the driveway. And I have my wife, 2 Air Force members, and my dad and stepmom and sister. They come over occasionally. And as far as the dwelling, there's no one dwelling in that rear structure.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you have any other questions that I can reply to.
No, I think I understand it. I mean, we've got 3 issues. Let me just summarize it for everyone. We've got 3 issues going on. The fence, which, based on the evidence, appears... And do you have that, the fence permit that you applied for?
Yes, sir, I do.
Let me go ahead and add that to the
Yes,
to the
sir.
record as well. response, the read?
What I paid and the survey with where the fence is going to be at.
Okay, that's good. All right. So these items related to the fencing are going to be respondents composite 3. Sorry for interrupting my train of thought there, but the fence, it does appear, was applied for on the 11th. Was that right? Last Thursday? Okay. So sometime last week. Let me ask city staff a question about the fence permit. How long do you think that'll take to process it, assuming everything's in good order?
Excuse me.
Tim Gibson, planning supervisor for the city of Fort Walton Beach. We did receive the application. I did take a cursory look at it. One of my planning staff was the one who actually does the review on it. We have talked about it. We've got a few concerns on the permit itself. What was applied for the site plan on there doesn't exactly match the pictures that we've seen of the fence in the front property line, as well as the certain sections. So in our land development code, basically anything that sits in front of the principal structure is considered your front yard area, regardless of setbacks or anything that's in front of the house is considered a front yard. Maximum height is 4 foot allowed there, and I have to be at least 50% open. On the site plan there, you can see he's requesting a 6 foot fence extending down that side property line that goes in front of the house, so that will have to be either removed from there or lowered to 4 foot and 50% open. I don't know if my staff member has reached out to them on that yet, but that's going to be something that's going to be coming up.
Okay. All right. So this is going to take a little bit of time to sort through.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's typically your fence permits are done within 2-3 days, honestly. But if this one's going to take a little bit more time, just because what it appears, I haven't actually been to the property, but from the pictures I've seen on there, it appears to be a 6 foot solid fence that runs significantly in the front yard and then even across the front of the house for an area there. None of that area there is permitted per our land development code. So it's really going to be just a question of how long it would take him to either remove that area or to lower it down to 4 foot and bring it to at least 50% open in there. So the permit itself, if the modifications are made there to show that it's going to go down to 4 foot and 50% open, the permit could be issued today, tomorrow, and stuff. It's just a matter of when we could close out that permit and do the final inspection to make sure that it's been lowered.
And let me talk to Mr. Fuller. Do you understand
Yes, sir.
what he's saying? Do you
I
agree with
understand 100%. Before I applied for the permit, I didn't know I needed a permit for this. And that's why I have it going all the way out to where it is and then turning. But now that I do know, I did speak with someone from the city and they told me all the requirements. They told me it has to be 24 feet away from the sidewalk and 50% open and 4 foot tall in the front. And I will be fixing all of that. If you can see on the site plan I sent you, that's going to be the fence that's going to be up, not the current fence.
Okay, so this is when you intend your as-built.
Yes,
to
sir.
look like it's not the current condition. So
Yes, sir.
Okay. You added these lines that say 44 feet, 88 feet.
Yes, sir.
72 feet yourself.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I understand. All right. So it does sound like you intend to come into compliance. And let me hear.
Just one clarification, I know he did speak to Ashley, one of my planners on there, and I'm not sure if there's confusion on this or whatever, but basically from the front of your structure, front of your house, anything forward of that has to be down to 4 foot. I know on the proposed site plan, it does show that one side sticking out further. So yeah, the setback from your front property is really irrelevant when it comes to fences. It's really the location of the house. Anything in front of that has to be 4 foot. No more than 4 foot and at least 50% open. So like on the one site plan, it does show, obviously it's a site plan, it's not exactly measurements or surveys grade, but it does appear that that's going to stick out from the front of the house, which would not be permanent.
Copy. You understand that?
Yes, sir. Now I understand that and I will get that fixed.
Okay. So it sounds like the fence, based on y'all's, 30 days should be fine. You can get this work done.
30 days
in
is more than enough, yes, sir.
30 days, you can be done. Okay. The fence, sounds like we've got that taken care of. The shed, again, you sold that.
Yes, sir.
And let me go ahead, you had some sort of piece of paper for that too.
Yes, sir, I do that. It's an agreement that I sold it, and I did receive the 500 for the down payment, and I did sell it for 3,000. I sold it to an Air Force lady, retired Air Force lady. She has to move it over to Crestview,
Okay.
and that would take a week or two for them to actually come pick it up and take it over there.
All right, Nick, this is gonna be respondents 4.
And sir, you realize you won't be getting these back, right? Because everything.
Yes, sir.
All right.
If you'd like, I'm sure Nick here can run some copies for you.
I have photocopies.
Okay, thanks. All right, and that does appear to be a handwritten contract reflecting what Ms. Polo has stated. So it sounds like the shed, and based on conversations with her, she'll come pick it up within this 30-day time frame.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll get that taken care of in 30 days. And then, so the last thing, stickiest issue here is the accessory building. Let me ask Mr. Moore, those photos that you found online, do you know if they're still online? Are they still being advertised?
I checked yesterday, they were still online, but it was with Zillow.
Okay.
So I know, as far as information goes, but I haven't actually seen it myself.
Mm-hmm.
So Mr. Coelho understands how he's to use the property, and he provides the information with the pictures and his testimony. And then I'll be happy to, before we comply the case, to just look at the rear structure. If there's no cooking facilities in there and it's not actively rented, I'd be happy with that to comply.
Okay. You understand that, Mr. Coelho? You think you can take care of all that?
100%. Yes,
30
sir.
days?
I forgot that it was on Zillow. That's from a long time ago. Like I said, I took everything down from Facebook months ago, around 6 months ago or so.
Okay.
And I'll gladly take that down.
Okay.
Like I said, it's not being rented out, and I do not plan on renting it out.
All right, so that will get taken care of in 30 days too. So here's what we'll do. We'll go ahead, it does appear that there have been violations here. So we're gonna enter the order 1 with 30 days. It does appear that the city had to do some fairly substantial work here, so I'm gonna impose a $325 administrative fee. That reflects the city's costs to get the property back into compliance. But as long as you're working towards the goal, we're not going to enter the second order, which would be what could ultimately lead to a lien on your property. So if in 30 days you're still having issues, work with Mr. Moore. Y'all can either come back here and we'll try and sort it out, or Mr. Moore can push the hearing out again. But the order 1, you just have to come into compliance within 30 days, and it sounds like you've got a plan to do that. So.
Yes, sir.
So we will send that.
That is for the fence, or?
That's for
everything?
everything. So, but like I said, if something unexpected comes up, whatever, you get sick and you can't take out that kitchen, as long as you're working towards the goal, we're not going to take that second step, which would be more impactful to your property.
Yes, sir.
So you'll come back, if that happened, that theoretical possibility happened, might come back here and you could explain that, Mr. Moore could confirm it, and we'd push it off.
I just want to clarify that that kitchen is not in the rear accessory building.
Okay.
That's clear?
Oh, yeah. Yes, from your front desk.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And,
Okay.
and Your Honor, on that real quick, just because, sometimes when they're asked to do some more detailed items like this, I've always found it's good for the staff to kind of give one last explanation on what he can probably do to bring it to compliance. And do you mind if we have Mr. Gibson or Mr. Moore just come up real quick and kind of tell them again what to expect, so it's on the record?
That's a good idea. Did you hear what Mr. Burns said?
Tim, either Tim or you or Ed, can you just kind of explain from what you gather from the pictures, what's going on, what he would have to do at a minimum from what you've seen to bring that kitchen into compliance, or the accessory dwelling into compliance?
Yeah, and that's what I was talking to Mr. Moore. So our code does allow for the single-family residentials to have one accessory dwelling unit on the property. So It gets a little convoluted in there, so sometimes you can have an accessory dwelling as actually part of the structure. So you can have a part of your house identified as an accessory dwelling, or you can have it as a separate entity, but you're allowed to have one accessory dwelling per property, and that's it. So the fact that this shed in the back has been converted into what could be an accessory dwelling is not necessarily the concern from a planning perspective anyways. As I understand, this was done with no permits, and that is a concern. So if the permits were issued for this to convert this into an accessory dwelling, then it would be okay per the land development code for there. The problem and concern is going to become is where did that line go from single family to apartment units and stuff with the multiple rooms being rented out inside the house as well as the dwelling unit behind the house. Now you're getting away from that single family concept of there. So our land development code does go into parts about like home-based businesses, and that's where it really goes into there. You can do whatever you want in your home as long as it doesn't change the general nature of the single-family residential unit. So when it changes that from what a normal single family would look like to beyond that, that's where it becomes concern in there from that single family. But you are allowed per our code to have a one accessory dwelling unit, which could have the full kitchen, bedroom, bathroom, all that sort of stuff in there as a separate unit. There are size restrictions, and that's some of the stuff that we have to look in there. The accessory dwelling unit can be no more than 25% the size of the principal structure living space. So that's one we would have to really figure out, and I don't know if it meets the criteria as an accessory dwelling unit. It's just something we've never reviewed the permits for, so we don't know what the exact size is.
Right.
If it meets the size requirements and the permits were required for it, it could be a legit accessory dwelling unit.
You mind if I ask a question?
Go ahead.
So Tim, to kind of sum it up, because Mr. Coelho, this is probably, a lot of legalese that you said. So there's a potential he could just go ahead and get everything permitted with after the fact permits and not have to rip anything out potentially.
That's a potential.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And as I said, it gets pretty complicated, I know, with the sizes and everything like that. So what my intention is to, like I say, follow him out, give him my card, and we can set up a meeting together where him and I can talk about kind of all the accessory dwelling stuff and things in there. There is the potential it could be legitimized as a structure. I am a little concerned over the size of it just from seeing some of the things. It being a two-story structure, it may fit within that 25%. I'm not sure on that one, but again, that's when it's still going to come back to the whole nature of the single-family home. Is it being modified from that?
So the bottom line for Mr. Coelho on the accessory building is he needs to apply for a permit and set up a meeting with
100%.
staff. Okay. You understand that, Mr. Coelho?
Yeah, the accessory building is not in the back, just clarifying that.
I'm sorry,
Mr. Coelho, could you approach the microphone just so we can...
You did mention again that the accessory building in the back, but it's not in the back. The back is just storage.
Understand, the white building that has the kitchen and stuff in it now,
No,
correct?
that is not in that white building.
Oh, okay. Where's the pictures that were on?
That is, you see the second window on
Okay.
the right side,
Uh-huh.
that is my kitchen,
Yes.
and the other kitchen is right next to it. Right behind that wall
Back.
is the other kitchen.
These windows you're talking about on the house?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so there's no kitchen in this building.
No, sir.
Yeah.
And this one's being removed. This is just a
Yes.
storage shed.
Yep, storage.
This one's being removed. Should be good to go.
Yep. Well, then if that's the case, if it's just an accessory structure, accessory structures are
You can
allowed.
see the pictures.
There's no issue with that in there. So, yeah, I was under the impression that that building had been converted into an accessory dwelling.
At first I was too, but his pictures do support.
Oh, yeah, I haven't seen any of those and stuff. So, like I said, I'm gonna follow him out and we'll try to come up and figure out what if any permits are needed or anything from there.
Okay.
And then I'll obviously work the code to
Yeah, I
figure out
mean,
what.
we still
needs to
have
happen.
the violations, so I'm still gonna enter the order
Absolutely.
one along those lines. But it does sound like there's just some more work that needs to be done between the
Absolutely.
city and Mr. Coelho here. So, will 30 days be enough to resolve that issue, you believe?
Maybe more than 30 days if possible. Would it be possible to get it in 90 days or 180?
Let me talk to Mr. Gibson and see how long he believes that.
So this is getting a little out of my world with the planning, not permitting and stuff, but and the inspections and everything. Again, I typically don't like to kick the
Tim, you mind if I ask you a
over them
question?
and stuff on there.
Do you mind if I
It is
direct you,
something
Mr.
that can be
Right,
worked
just
out.
have- the best thing I think for Mr. Quayle is to get this case in compliance within that 30 days, and then Tim and myself, we can explain to him how we can improve the property with that rear structure. And once he gets with Tim and his planners, it's a lot easier that way than
Yeah,
altogether, because he might get hung up somewhere, and who knows what the cost, you know.
and I tend to agree. I think we can stick with the 30 days, and if there's issues, and it's
Because
being
we
worked
get-
out, just,
If we get Mr. Quayle into compliance, then he's got all the time in the world to work on his property, and 'cause
Yeah.
I think he knows what he wants to do with it, you know.
yeah. I mean, it sounds like there needs to be some communication here with the city and the respondent. I think 30 days is fine. Like I said before, if you're working towards it, 30 days doesn't end up being enough time, it won't be a big deal in front of me. We'll just extend you some more, so, as long as the city's okay with that.
Yep.
Sir, would you mind just clarifying what I have to do in those 30 days? Just because it's not really
Sure.
clear for me.
I
First
think-
time doing
No, no.
everything.
I think the special magistrate laid it out. If you get the fence, any of the fencing on the property, as long as it's permitted,
Fence will be good.
Fence?
30
you
days.
get the fence squared away, then with the shed that you're removing, that takes care of that violation. And then if we visit the property, the eyeball, that middle building, that there's no kitchen in it, actively rented, that takes care of that. And then we can comply this case, and like Tim was elaborating on, you can improve your property
Yes, sir.
with that back building how you see fit.
And if there's a kitchen, I know you said there's not a kitchen, but if there's something that indicates it's maybe an accessory dwelling and not a storage unit, then you would have an opportunity to apply for a permit and go through that process at that point. Is that correct, Your Honor?
That's how I understand it.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
And
Yeah.
I see this as, it's gonna be a little fluid here, because there's some stuff that needs to happen.
It gets a little complicated.
Yeah, so I think that the original order that I pronounced still will be in effect here. And fence sounds like it'll be no problem, shed doesn't sound like it'll be a problem, and then you'll work with the city on the accessory dwelling unit there, so,
Yes, sir.
all right.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, Chris, let's figure the order, and then, whenever you get, as long as you say this is 10, fencing, permit, and get that further, then we'll work with the visit to comply with the rear when you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Cool. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yep.
Okay.
Definitely. I want to make sure that Nick gets the, yeah, why don't you start with
Nick says, I don't want that.
Okay, unless this is Mr. Moore's case, next we're going to do
Attach it to the case.
6.3, I believe. Yeah, because we moved 6.1 to
Okay,
games.
yep, 6.3.
Yep,
Yes, sir.
6.3.
Okay, 560. Okay. I'm Robert Rhodes, Code Inspector, City of Fort Walton Beach. This is case CE-24-560-GHD. This case pertains to the subject address of 338 Lake Drive Northwest. According to the tax record, the owner of said property is Warren K. Lewis. 176 days ago, on July 23rd, 2024, the property was found in violation of grass height developed, section 5.07.01, subsection S, for failure to cut and maintain all grass weeds to a height of 12 inches or less. October 7th, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of violation. On October 14th, 2024, a reinspection of the property found the violation had not been corrected. On October 29th, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of hearing. And on August 1st and August 20th and October 29th of 2024, photographs of the violations were taken. and as of January 15th, 2025, the property remains in violation. Additionally, the respondent has an extensive case history, including 19 code cases, mostly for not cutting the grass. At this time, staff would like to enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A is a case history report. Exhibit B is a list of exhibits. Exhibit C is a notice of hearing and proof of service. Exhibit D is a notice of violation and proof of service. Exhibit E is a copy of the inspector's qualifications. Exhibit F is a copy of the tax record showing the property's ownership. And Exhibit G are the photographs of the violations. And staff is requesting acceptance of the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and issuance of Order 1, including the $325 administrative fee. Staff also recommends 7 days' time for compliance of the violations. This would make your compliance deadline on January 23rd, 2025.
Okay.
And there is no respondent here for this case, so I will enter this into the record.
All right. I'll take a look at this while I'm assuming you got pictures to put up there.
And as I stated in my report there, this property's been an ongoing, sorry, that's the last case. Here we go. Oh. And I was not able to reach the property owner. I've had that problem numerous times in the past with the 19 cases we've had in the past. Years ago he had, this is not, what am I looking at? Okay. Ooh. Look at the wrong document. This is the case history from it. So I need to get back. I don't know what happened to my PowerPoint, but I ended up with 2 slides and not what I needed there. But basically, the front yard is, and actually I brought pictures from this morning that I just took. I'll just show you those. Sorry about that. This is the front yard this morning. And then this is the scrub oaks and weeds over here that are need waist deep in some of them.
Sure.
But basically, like I said, he used to have a property manager, and a few years back, he gave up the property manager and decided to mess with it himself, and he just doesn't cut the grass.
Gotcha.
And in the middle of this, it took a long time to get service on the notice of hearing because he moved at some point. I sent the notice of hearing to an address, and it came back returned saying he was no longer there. So then the tax record changed, and I sent it to the new address, and then, again, I sent it to a bunch of places. Didn't
Is
get
there a
it.
tenant on the property?
What's that?
Is there a tenant on the property?
No, it's been vacant for, 6 or 7 years at least. I don't know how long.
Okay.
I don't know why he kept it vacant, but he had a property manager and he kept it vacant, and they would periodically cut it, probably once or twice a year whenever I forced them to cut it. And this time I didn't get anything, so we posted it, and I'd like to get an order, and it'll probably be back in a month or 2 for Order 2.
All right. Well, we'll go ahead and enter the exhibits as presented into the record here on this case, and there's no respondents to the record. So based on the evidence presented by Mr. Rhodes, I'm going to enter the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the first order 1 here, with the $325 administrative fine. And how much time were you requesting?
I was asking 7 days.
How many days?
7.
7 days is fine. All right. I think that disposes of 6.3. 6.4 was rescheduled. So that brings us to 6.5 and Mr. Moore again. And this is case CE 24-787 SWC.
My name's Ed Moore, Code Inspector, City of Fort Walton Beach. This is case number CE 24787 SWC. This case pertains to 2 Cinderella Lane, Northwest B. According to the tax records, the owners of said property are Dale E. and Deborah G. Wessel. On October 23rd, 2024, the property is found in violation of Code Section 50401A through G and 50402, 1, 2, and 12, nuisances general, and Land Development Code Section 50406 and 504.11, sidewalks clear. There were vehicles parked on the property blocking the visibility of oncoming traffic for the adjacent property, causing a traffic visibility hazard and blocking the use of and passage with the sidewalk in front of this property at 2 Cinderella Lane, Northwest B. On November 16, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of violation. On December the 2nd, 2024, re-inspection of the property found the violations had not been corrected. On December the 6th, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of hearing, and on January the 9th, 2025, photographs of the violations were taken, and as of today, January 15th, 2025, the property remains in violation. At this time, staff would like to enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A is the case history report. Exhibit B is a list of exhibits. Exhibit C is a notice of hearing and proof of service. Exhibit D is a notice of violation and proof of service. Exhibit E is a copy of the inspector's qualifications. Exhibit F is a copy of the tax record showing the property's ownership. And Exhibit G are photographs of the violations. Staff is requesting acceptance of findings of fact, conclusions of law, and issuance of Order 1, including the $325 administrative fee. Staff also recommends 10 days' time for compliance of the violations with a recommended compliance date of January 25th, 2025.
All right.
There you go.
Thanks, sir.
Did you want the photo export or the other pictures?
It should be in there.
I don't know which ones you wanted. You want?
Oh.
You've got those or that one?
That one. Yeah, that's fine.
There.
What it is, the unit at 2 Cinderella Lane A is where the little white car is, and where the big RV and the trucks are parked is 2 Cinderella Lane, Northwest B. And the issue is they've parked these vehicles there for some time and they never move, and apparently when you use A's driveway, as you can see from that picture there, that RV pretty much blocks the view of oncoming traffic for that resident trying to pull out. And in fact, when I get these type of complaints, I will pull in and try to back out without getting hit or worse, and that is, you really can't see anything when you're there. I mean, the pictures, they tried to show it, but when you're actually there, you can't see a thing. And including parking the vehicles across the sidewalk so that you can't use the sidewalk to traverse back and forth. So those are the, I was hoping they'd show up today so they could explain why they haven't moved them yet, but.
Yeah, I mean, I can see the safety issue created here. I was just reading through the nuisance code. Right, it does look like that meets the definition there and the sidewalk as well. Okay, and there's no respondent for this case today?
No, sir, I haven't had any contact with them, and unfortunately, the way they have their front situated, you can't get access to that front door without,
Yeah.
it's not a comfortable situation, so.
Okay. All right. It does seem like a case that if you can make contact, this might be able to be cleared up, but there does appear to be a violation. I'm going to go ahead and accept the exhibits into the record in this case, and we'll enter the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the Order 1, as we call it, with the $325 fine, and 10 days is what you're asking for, Mr. Moore?
Yes,
All right,
sir.
sir.
We'll do 10 days. So next was 6.6, but that was the first case we tackled. 6.7 came into compliance. That moves us right along to 6.8. Mr. Taylor.
Rich Taylor, City of Fort Walton Beach, Code Inspector. This case is CE 24696-ROF. This case pertains to subject address 47 Rainell Circle Southeast. According to the tax record, the owner of the property is Roderick Griffin. 127 days ago, on September 10, 2024, the property was found in violation of property maintenance 5.07 for a damaged roof. On November 26, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of violation. On December 10, 2024, re-inspection of the property found the violation had not been corrected. On December 30th, service was obtained for the notice of hearing. On November 26, 2024, December 30th, 2024, and January 13th, 2025, photographs of the violation were taken. As of today, the property still remains in violation. At this time, staff would like to enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A, the case history report. Exhibit B, list of exhibits. Exhibit C, notice of hearing and proof of service. Exhibit D, notice of violation and proof of service. Exhibit E, copy of inspector's qualifications. Exhibit F, copy of the tax record showing property ownership. And Exhibit G, photos of the violation. Staff is requesting acceptance of findings of fact, conclusions of law, and issuance of an order 1, including the $325 administrative fee. Staff also recommends 30 days for compliance of the violation. This would make the compliance deadline February 15th, 2025. And I do have pictures.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Go ahead.
The picture on the right side is probably the best view, all the way over to the left on top of where that bush is. Move the cursor over right there. That's a big rotten spot in the roof. There's one in the middle, and then there's one all the way over to the right-hand side. About where the carport area is. So that whole roof is kind of buckled, and there's rotten boards and
Gotcha. Have you made contacts with the respondents here?
so I've sent certified letters, and they've all gone undelivered. So I ended up posting the property. Mr. Roderick owns a property right behind this house on Hollywood. So I sent letters, both certified and regular mail, and then ended up posting this property on the front door. The notice has been removed. I taped it to the front door, whatever date is on there.
Okay.
So he hasn't reached out and contacted me anymore.
All right.
There's a notice in the picture there.
Yes.
It does appear that the roof is rotten, which would violate the city's code. So what we'll do is I'll go ahead and enter the exhibits into the record, and we'll issue the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and the order 1, the $325 fine and 30 days. And just to confirm, there's no respondent present here today. No respondent. Okay. Also, I don't think I've read this case number for the record, so let me do that. This is CE 24696-ROF. So, all right. Anything else on that case?
No.
And then, so that brings us to, we'll do 6.9, which is CE 24537-LIT. And that's Ms. Taylor again.
Rich Taylor, City of Fort Walton Beach Code Enforcement. This case pertains to the subject address, 123 Texas Street Northeast. According to the tax records, the owners of the property are Rosalinda and Dante Doe. 176 days ago, on July 23rd, 2024, the property was found in violation of litter, Section 504, permit required, Section 301, and unlicensed non-operative items, Section 5.04. On December 12th, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of violation. On December 19th, 2024, a reinspection of the property found the violations had not been corrected. On December 30th, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of hearing. On December 12th, 2024, December 30th, 2024, and January 13th, 2025, photographs of the violation were taken. As of today, the property remains in violation. At this time, staff would like to enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A, case history report. Exhibit B, list of exhibits. Exhibit C, notice of hearing and proof of service. Exhibit D, notice of violation and proof of service. Exhibit E, copy of inspector's qualifications. Exhibit F, copy of tax records showing the property ownership. And Exhibit G, photos of the violation. Staff is requesting acceptance of findings of fact, conclusions of law, and issuance of an Order 1, including the $325 administrative fee. Staff also recommends 14 days compliance for the violation. This would make the compliance deadline January 29th of 2025.
All right. So what is that we're looking at here?
So here's can you go back? So that's the side yard. That boat expired in 21, and it's sitting on a trailer that, although I can't see the license plate, when the condition of it is non-operative.
Jumpy.
This is the opposite side of the house. The picture on the right is probably best. Right in front of that gray car is a stack of tires. There's a pallet with some type of materials on it. There's wood in front of the tires. And then, you can go to the next one. This is the side of the house that we were just looking at. There's some stop signs, there's some buckets, there's a sandblasting cabinet there. There's some other kind of, I don't know if it's a golf cart or some type of utility vehicle there. The whole side is just, has a whole bunch of various litter. And then there's another picture. Not that one, maybe this is the first one. There's a picture of the shed, right, go back. Right there on the right picture, you can see the trusses. There was a shed that had started to be built. There is no permit for that. And so that was the reason for the permit violation.
Okay. And no respondent here today on this?
No, I did speak with Mr. Dante Doe the day that I posted the notice of violation. He called me right away. It was a very unproductive conversation.
Gotcha. All right. I'll go ahead and enter these exhibits into the record, and we're going to enter the findings of fact, conclusions of law. The Order 1 with the $325 fine, administrative fee, and 14 days to get compliance, which is January 29th, 2025. And anything else on that case? No. All right. Which brings us back, all the way back to 6.1. Respondent made it here?
Yes, sir.
And I'll swear her in real quick.
Yeah, please.
Ma'am, this is going to be your case they're calling now. Can you stand real quick? Do you swear to tell the truth, whole truth, and the truth, so help you got?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes is going to first present the case, and you'll have a chance to respond.
Robert Rhodes, Code Inspector, City of Fort Walton Beach. This is case CE-24-757-WS. This case pertains to subject address of 207 Combs Manor Court Northwest. According to the tax records, the owner of said property is Deborah A. Riley Broadnax et al. This property was originally found in violation 167 days ago on August 1st, 2024. This case was brought before the magistrate on October 16th, 2024. The magistrate found the property in violation of water service required, section 10.51.04, for prohibited occupancy without legal connection to city water service. The magistrate issued an order giving the respondents until November 30th, 2024 to bring the property into compliance. An inspection of the property on November 30th, 2024 found the violation had not been corrected as ordered. Therefore, on November 30th, 2024, a statement of noncompliance was filed. On December 31st, 2024, service was obtained for the notice of hearing. At this time, staff would like to enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit H is the October 16th, 2024 order of the board, or actually order of the magistrate. And the Exhibit I is the November 30th, 2024 statement of noncompliance. Exhibit J is a notice of hearing and proof of service. And Exhibit K is the January 15th, 2025 customer service print screen reflecting an inactive water account. Staff is requesting acceptance of the findings of fact, conclusions of law, and issuance of Order 2, and the standard administrative fee, $325. Staff also recommends the normal $100 per day, starting the original deadline that was given by the magistrate of November 30th, 2024, as previously set by the magistrate. But I think she may have some information that you may want to give her more time. We're okay with that if you feel fit.
Okay, and Ms. Riley, do you have any objection to these exhibits being entered into the record?
No.
Okay, let me go ahead and see those. And do you want to show me anything else, Bert, or are you ready for?
I just have a picture in front of the house.
Okay. Let me just take a look, and then we'll call.
Don't know that you need to see that. She's not contesting that she's still living there, I don't think.
Right.
That's basically what it looks like there. She's, actually, let's see. That's what it looked like this morning with the car in front of it. That's from October 3rd, but I did take another picture this morning.
Okay.
So she's still residing there.
All right. Let me hear from Miss Riley Rodnix.
Well, Ms. Riley.
Miss Riley. Okay.
That's my sister, yeah, we call her. Yeah, I did have, I was rushing this morning because I wasn't feeling good, but I have some receipts that I just took screenshots of. It's on my email. But so I've had the people come out, Hydro Scout, so they found the leak. It's under the concrete, and I have that here. So the person that originally came out to do did not know what they were doing, and I just found someone that reasonably priced that is going to be able to do the job. So I guess just need more time. But I have my receipts and stuff here. You can see it.
Okay. What time? How much more time do you think you need?
Maybe 30 days, I'm thinking.
So essentially, we'd continue this hearing to the next meeting. Is that what you're doing?
Do you want to do that, or we would normally prefer that you issue an order with a new deadline? That way, we don't have to come back. If they're not complied, the fine would start to run. But that's up to you. If you want to continue it, that we would just reschedule for another hearing.
Okay.
Your Honor, maybe in this case, give 60 days, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I do, there does appear to be some effort here. Mr. Burns, do you have any recommendation on the two options I have to give the 60 days?
I would give 60 days for just this time of year with contractors, kind of.
What about rescheduling the hearing versus entering the order?
I think actually, it's up to you, but I think continuing the hearing would be the better approach in this situation.
I was inclined to continue the hearing and hearing from the city's council as well. I'm going to continue it. I just, it does sound like there's efforts being made. I'm going to continue it 60 days.
Okay, thank you.
March hearing if you're not complied with. And at that time, I really do need to see some compliance at that point. So.
I understand. Thank you. I appreciate
Okay.
it.
And real quick, Nick, do you know the date of the March special magistrate hearing? Just so she knows.
19th,
So March 19th, ma'am. Okay. And if you're into compliance before then, right, Your Honor, then she might
Yeah,
not come
if
back.
you're in compliance before then, and Mr. Rhodes agrees, we don't need, no need for a hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
You're good.
Thank you. Have a good day.
thank you. And anything else from city staff here?
No, sir, I think that's all we got for you today.
All right, well then we'll go ahead and adjourn.
Hey, Tim, thanks for all the help, man.